Good evening. I'm Aubrey Reynolds, and tonight's keynote speaker is Mr. Charles S. DeAngelo. Mr. DeAngelo earned a bachelor's degree and master's degree from Cornell University and received his law degree from Georgetown University Law Center. He has been practicing since 1981 and has represented clients all over Western New York. He's a private attorney as well as a regional attorney for the Civil Service Employees Association. Prior to joining Fessenden Laumer DeAngelo in 1984, he served as an attorney for the International Brotherhood of Teamsters in Washington, D.C. Mr. DeAngelo is an active contributor to his community. He is a member of the Winford Crawford Dibbert Boys and Girls Club of Jamestown Board of Directors, New York State Supreme Court Appellate Division, 8th Judicial Department Committee on Character and Fitness, and the Jamestown Bar Association Public Relations and Judicial Selection Committees. He also serves as the current counsel for the Chautauqua County Youth Area Hockey Association sled hockey program, Jamestown Area Youth Soccer, Jamestown Babe Ruth Baseball League, Jamestown Babe Ruth World Series, Children's Love Fund, and the Jamestown Vietnam Veterans Association. Please help me welcome Chuck DeAngelo.
Thank you. Very nice. Wow. I got to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate being asked to do this. I am a very proud alumnus of Jamestown High School. And to all of you, if I can do it, you can do it. A good lawyer tells you what he's going to tell you, then he tells you, and then he tells you what he told you. So let me tell you. My speech applies to the top of your class, to the 219th person ranked in your class, and everyone else in between. Things are not always going to go your way in life. Never quit on yourself, ever. Find a way to fall up from falling down. Establish personal goals for yourself first. I gave a presentation like this to the SUNY Fredonia students some time ago that had an interesting ending that I'll catch up with it in a minute. That presentation focused on my many failures. I'm not any different than anybody else here. There's ups and downs in my life, and I've had my share of failures. I call them falling down. I started to believe in my junior and senior years at JHS that I had limited options. Why? I was Mr. 219th in my class at Jamestown High School. My grades were atrocious. My general science grade was a D. I got a U in Math 9, and I don't know how I did this, but I got a C in personal typing at Jamestown High School. I couldn't read very well, and frankly, my comprehension skills were nil, until a good teacher got a hold of me by the name of Lynn Phillips, and in my senior year, literally taught me to read from the ground up. I grew up on Allen Street between Willard and English Street, and I'm a boys club and girls club kid. That's where I grew up. Earlier, when you went in that pool door, my mother was the custodian washing those towels and cleaning the cafeteria. My father worked at Watson's in a metal fabrication plant. My older brother was the only one I knew that successfully went to college at that time, although we had other cousins going in at the same time. I didn't have any college-bound role models, and I certainly didn't know any lawyers. I did not have confidence in myself that I needed. Oddly enough, the Jamestown High School teachers had more confidence in me than I did. So what changed? How did I turn this around? Well, first, with personal support, the people that care and love you, like my wife, Debbie, and my children, Kara, John and Matt. My family is loyal to me to a fault. Second, that core group of friends that you got, that you have, that you need, that stick with you and tell you that you're going to do good things. Hold on to those people close. So how did I get this done? How did I move forward? Well, I always had a plan B. I assumed that things weren't going to go good for me because things hadn't gone good for me. I have a lot of failures along the way. Secondly, I never tried to be someone else. I have to be myself, warts and all. And I recognized that I needed to work on my self-confidence. Additionally, the secret nobody wants to talk about, and if you practice law in a small community, you hear a lot from people. I had depression and anxiety coming along the way. It's not uncommon, graduates. You're gonna feel depression, you're gonna feel anxiety in your life. Don't let it take you over you. Focus on your positives. I switched to thinking positive, not negative, or as my daughter Kara says, I'm one of those glass half full guys, not half empty. Fortunately, or I guess by some people's standards, unfortunately, I experienced those failures and I just pushed forward. Right out of the gate at Jamestown High School, I got rejected at all 3 colleges, state colleges that I applied to. Well, how did I get to Cornell? How did I get to Georgetown? Well, here's the rest of the story. My high school counselor and my high school history teacher begged my way into SUNY Fredonia on what they called, we'll give you a chance. I went to Fredonia and I kicked butt for 2 years. I read because now Lynn Phillips taught me to read, and I did well at Fredonia. Next up, now I'm dreaming, I'm gonna try to go to Cornell. By the way, a failure in between. I want to be a politician like Tony Dulce. I like politics, okay? I majored in political science at SUNY Fredonia. That lasted 1 semester. I hated political science. I changed my major. It's okay to change your major. Find what's comfortable for you. I became an economics major, which served me well later at Cornell. I did what I had to do. I studied harder, and frankly, was a bit of a boring guy in college because I needed to make my way, and I wasn't sure that I could. I wanted to go to Cornell's University School of Industrial Labor Relations. That's ILR, or what we call I Like to Read School, because right in the door, I got a pile of labor history books this high handed to me and said, okay, start reading. By the way, I interviewed at Cornell, and the admissions officer said to me, well, Mr. DeAngelo, this is an Ivy League school. Why do you think you can do well here? By the way, I finished in the bottom 38 percentile in the country on the SATs, and she reminded me that I was 219th in my class. I told her, I think I can make it because I started working as a young teen. I've worked all my life, and look how good I did at Fredonia. On the way back with my Vietnam veteran friend who took me to my interview, back then, parents didn't drive you to interviews, you went with a friend. My friend said, you're gonna get in. I said, well, we'll see. That admissions officer cut me a big break and admitted me to Cornell. By the way, I promised her that I would finish in the top of my class. She said, oh, really? I said, give me a chance. I got admitted to Cornell. Same challenge, different school. Got to work hard, got to focus, and you got to keep those limited distractions away. I finished on the top part of my class at Cornell. Remember that 38 bottom percentile in the country in the SATs, they said that I probably couldn't read and write by that score. It's about JHS, hard work, ethic, work ethic that's been described by the speakers, Superintendent and Principal Williams. Now I want to go to graduate school. In fact, they gave me a full scholarship at Cornell to get my master's, but I can't take a test. I scored remarkably in the same bottom 38 percentile on the graduate record exams. That's like an SAT for graduate school. The dean of the labor school, again, put his neck out for me, and I got admitted for the master's program. Next up, I want to go to law school. Oh my, I scored in the bottom 33% in the country on the LSATs. I clearly cannot take a test. I got admitted to 7 out of 10 law schools because they all looked beyond just the standardized tests. And Georgetown Law School, my favorite law school, my #1 choice, admitted me. Again, it was a question of trying to find a way to fall up, not fall down. 42 years later, looking back at my law school graduation, I succeeded because I worked through my self-doubt and focused on what I had done and could do, not what I was afraid I couldn't do. I again graduated with honors and was selected for the American Criminal Law Review, which is like an honor society in law school. Back at that Fredonia speech and why it applies to all of you, about 10 years later, I'm handling a case with a lawyer in Buffalo, and the attorney in Buffalo said to me, you know, you're responsible for my husband going to law school. I said, what? She said, well, you remember when you gave that speech at SUNY Fredonia about how bad you did on those tests and how you had all these setbacks? I said, yeah, I remember that. She said, my husband came home and said, if Chuck DeAngelo can do it, I can do it too. I'm going to law school. She said, of course, who on earth is this Chuck DeAngelo guy? I laughed and said, you know, if I had that kind of an effect on one person, I am delighted, because I was that one person that the people at Jamestown High School supporting me had that effect on. My response by my words and conduct all of my life have been so what when things didn't work out. I can and do whatever that is if I put my mind to it. As life progressed, I faced additional challenges even today. And I have to have that same attitude of so what. Last year on May 12, 2022, I was diagnosed with terminal leukemia cancer. The doctor advised me that if I didn't go through chemo, I would only live about a month to a month and a half. I, of course, told them, give me the chemo. Unfortunately, the 2 rounds of chemo didn't work. I'm in a tough spot. I said to the doctor, now what? The doctors then told me there was this new treatment called CAR-T. God bless the biochemistry majors, by the way, because they saved my life. I took this CAR-T transplant where they took cells out of my body, sent them to California, re-engineered my cells, and put them back in my body. They gave me life back in less than 12 minutes at Roswell. I'm in remission now, so I'm continuing to do what I said I'd do in my junior and senior years at Jamestown High Schools. I'm going to persevere. I'm going to watch out for my mental health and my physical health. I'm not giving up. I can do this. I truly appreciate everything the Jamestown school system did for me and all the teachers that had my back. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And now let me tell you in conclusion I'm going to tell you what I told you I was going to tell you. I appreciate the opportunity to say this. If I can do it, you can do it. Always watch out for yourself mentally and physically, and good luck to the class of 2003. You did it.